big eyes on my mother and says, and why did you? And my mother goes, and why did we do what? The woman said, why did you follow his orders? Why didn't one of you from the third floor grab a piano, a chair, a cupboard, anything, and you would have thrown on the head of that accursed Nazi and you would have run? Can you hear macho Israel talking? Can you hear know-it-all Israel talking? My mom didn't know how to address the question. What is this woman thinking? Partisans and forests? This is downtown Budapest. Where would an Orthodox family run to? In broad daylight in Nazi-occupied downtown Budapest. Who would harbor them? This woman is thinking probably forests, whatever. But is she going to argue? She arrived last week with a backpack of 20 pounds. This is all she had in the world. She's pregnant. These people gave her shelter, work, food, medical treatment, a good place to raise the baby. Is she going to argue? No. Shut up! Shut up! Story is retold 8.5 years later when the baby is not only born but 8 years old, and that's one of my first recollections of Mom telling me Holocaust stories. She thought I was old enough by then. And she explains how they used to live in that part of Budapest that was always Jewish, not because of the Nazis, etc. You know that. And then the summer of 44, one shot in the air, etc. You know the story. And then she adds one sentence for the proper upbringing of her Israel-born Sabra daughter. And the sentence is, and we were stupid enough to follow his orders. What did the state of Israel teach my mother in those 8.5 years? Guilt. That she didn't measure up. That it wouldn't have happened to Israelis. And to make sure that her daughter, at least, is not seen as such. Okay? It took me years after that, when I went into the field of Holocaust education, to ask Mom, maybe the Nazis had a little to do with that, not all the responsibility is yours, you know? Many, many thoughts. We leave them at that and we jump years ahead to the year 1959. Israel is already 11 years of age. And I'm taking you to the public arena. The Knesset, the parliament. Ben Gurion, your guy, is still prime minister. So that means a left-of-center government. Mapai, they were called, the party at the time, the Labour, still the Labour Party, only they were in the lead at the time. Still, no matter how great Ben Gurion was, he couldn't have a one-party government. He needed a coalition. And the coalition or gentleman like him was the knitted kippot, okay? The modern Orthodox Zionist. Who is the head of the opposition to Ben Gurion's government at the time? Menachem Begin, right of center. I would say Republican-like, but then you immediately will start thinking abortions, and that was not on their agenda. But very conservative, very nationalistic, right of center. For the sake of the particular vote today, 1959, not really today, over 50 years ago, almost 52 years ago, the topic was not a major one. On what day of the Hebrew calendar is the state of Israel, and by virtue of that the rest of the Jewish world, going to commemorate the Holocaust? It's not a biggie, you say. Why does it have to come in front of the parliament? Why does it become political? Israel, everything is political. So let's follow the politics. Now remember, you were not great, you were great with the Satmar Rebbe. I want to see you perform better with Israeli politics. Let's say if you can rise to the occasion. What were the arguments? Vote. The knitted kippot, national religious, move out of the coalition with Ben Gurion to join Menachem Begin, conservative nationalist, right of center, Republican-like, in the opposition, and put in front of the House the only suggestion, according to them, religious, conservative, nationalistic, for a proper date in the Hebrew calendar on which the Holocaust should be commemorated. And that would be? Thank you, Matt. You said, Susan? The 9th of Av, said Susan. Tisha B'Av. Why is she saying that?
Because of the Babylonian.
The destruction of the temple. So from a distance of 51 odd years, Susan Pellet, my friend, addresses David Ben-Gurion and says, David, why are we having this debate at all? We Jews have a date on which we commemorate national destruction. It's called Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. The fact that some of you do not know what I'm talking about, you know why that happens? It's because it's in the summer, and in the summer you're never in shul. You show up for Rosh Hashanah, but not before. You're on vacation. This is why you don't know. You're traveling. Okay? Even our kids don't know that much because it's not in the school year. In the summer vacation. If you send your kids to Jewish camping, this is where you learn about it. Okay? All right. But you, ladies and gentlemen, know that the Holocaust Memorial is not on Tisha B'Av. So couldn't Ben-Gurion see the logic of Susan? We have a day for national destruction, first time.
Yom HaAtzmaut.
Yom HaAtzmaut is Day of Independence. It's not when we commemorate the Holocaust. Yom HaZikaron is for the soldiers. It's a day before Yom HaAtzmaut. It's not when we commemorate the Holocaust. The commemoration of the Holocaust is a week before Yom HaAtzmaut. It's in the spring. So first of all, tell me, why did Ben-Gurion and his followers not agree to Susan's suggestion, which is perfectly logical? What was wrong with it? Come on, think Israeli. I need the help of the Israelis. Why would Ben-Gurion not agree to Tisha B'Av? I'm pronouncing it the Israeli way. What was wrong with it?
It's a religious holiday.
Too religious. Are you an Israeli?
No.
But you get our mind. You're good, but too religious, too diaspora-like. No. Now think Ben-Gurion for me. Ben-Gurion, in his mind and ours, he's a nation builder. He understands symbols. You want to think American? Do Jefferson, not Washington. The man who understands the importance of an act, of a symbol. He wants the memory of the Holocaust to be connected in the mind of young Jews and Israelis in generations to come to the proper message. He is looking for a date, for an event of something that had happened during the Holocaust to connect the memory to, so our youth in generations to come will get the proper message. What type of date is he looking for?
Liberation of the concentration camp?
That's by the Americans.
Passover. Jewish defense, Warsaw Ghetto Uprising.
Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. We don't want GI heroes, we want Jewish heroes, so excuse me. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Your mind was right, but you had to do the Israeli finesse, okay? The Jewish finesse. And for that we need an Israeli, okay. The date of the Holocaust commemoration day that you and us remember every day is the year of the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. Okay? And the date is given a name. I know that we all call it for short Yom HaShoah, because who can say the full name, Yom HaZikaron HaShoah VeLaGvura? Give me a break. So we call it Yom HaShoah, you and us. But today we are here to study, and I have a few more minutes. And therefore, we will look at the text of the name. The date is called the Day of Commemoration for the Holocaust and Heroism. Holocaust and Heroism, Shoah VeGvura. I'm 64, you know that. I told you when my mother was pregnant, so it's not a big secret. My generation, and maybe even yours, which is probably one generation apart. I think you're closer to the age of my children, who are around 40. Okay? I'm giving you a compliment. Take it. Take it.
Take it.
Our generation